Welcome back to the English Vision Podcast. I'm your host, John, and I am thrilled to have you with us today. Whether you're listening on your commute, at the gym, or watching us on YouTube, thank you for joining our community.
And hello, everyone. I'm Sarah, your co-host. I'm so happy to be here to learn and practice English with all of you.
It is always great to share the microphone with you, Sarah. You know, I was reading an article this morning about the world's most successful business leaders. It got me thinking about how much of their success comes down to one specific skill.
Is it their intelligence or maybe their hard work?
Both of those are true, but the article highlighted something else. It was their ability to speak and communicate. When a top executive walks into a room, people listen. They command attention.
I have noticed that when I watch videos of big company leaders, the Fortune 500 CEOs, they sound so confident. But for me, as a non-native speaker, it feels impossible to speak like that in a business meeting. I get nervous and forget my words.
That is a very common feeling, Sarah, and you are definitely not alone. But the truth is, speaking with authority is a skill you can learn. It is not just for native speakers. Today, we are going to talk about exactly that. We are going to break down the techniques and the specific phrases that top executives use to command the room.
That sounds amazing. I really need this for my next corporate presentation. Where do we start?
Let us start at the very beginning of a speech or a meeting. The most crucial moment is the first few seconds. You have to hook your audience. A hook is a technique used to grab someone's attention immediately, like a fish on a fishing line.
Ah, I see. A hook catches the fish. So what is a good hook for a business meeting? I usually just say, hello, everyone. Today, I will talk about our sales numbers.
That is polite, but it does not grab attention. Top CEOs often start with a story or a strong visual image. A great phrase they use is, "Let me paint a picture for you."
Let me paint a picture for you. But we are in a meeting, not an art class. What does that mean?
That is a great question. To paint a picture with words means to describe a situation so clearly and with such detail that the listeners can imagine it in their minds. Instead of showing them numbers immediately, you create a scene.
Can you give me an example of how to use it?
Sure. Imagine a CEO talking about a new product. Instead of saying, "We made a new phone," they might say, "Let me paint a picture for you." Imagine walking into a busy train station, you're lost, and your phone battery is dead. Our new device solves that exact panic.
Oh, wow. That makes me want to listen more. I can easily see the busy train station in my head.
Exactly, it connects with the audience emotionally. Another powerful phrase to start with is, consider the alternative.
Consider the alternative. What is an alternative?
An alternative is a different choice or a different option. So when you say consider the alternative, you're asking people to think about what will happen if they do not follow your plan. It makes your solution look much better.
I like that. So I could say, we need to update our software immediately. Consider the alternative. Our competitors will steal all our clients.
Perfect. You are already sounding like a CEO. Now let us move on from the words to the way you say them, your delivery. One of the biggest mistakes people make when they are nervous is speaking too fast.
Yes, I do that. When I'm nervous in English, I just want to finish my sentence quickly so I can sit down and stop talking.
It is a natural reaction. But top executives use a different technique. They use the power of the pause. They stop speaking for a brief moment to let their words sink in.
Really, but if I stop talking in a meeting, people might think I forgot my words or that my English is bad.
It is all about how you pause. If you look down at your shoes and look terrified, yes, they might think you forgot. But if you look directly at your audience, deliver a strong point, and then silently hold eye contact for 2 seconds, it shows extreme confidence.
Okay, I will try to practice the pause. It sounds scary, but very powerful. What about pronunciation? Sometimes I worry people cannot understand my accent in professional settings.
Your accent is part of who you are, Sarah, and it is perfectly fine. The key is clarity, not completely losing your accent. A great technique for clear delivery is focusing on enunciating the ends of your words.
Enunciating, that means speaking clearly and pronouncing every sound, right?
Exactly. Many speakers, even native ones, swallow the final sounds of their words. For example, instead of saying project, they might say project. By making sure you hit that final T sound, project, your speech instantly sounds more crisp and professional.
Project, let me try. We need to finish this project by tomorrow.
Excellent. That sounded very authoritative. Now let us look at another scenario. In every big meeting, someone will ask a difficult question or try to take the conversation off topic.
Yes, I hate that, especially when it is a complicated question in English and I need time to think. How do executives handle that?
They use a technique called pivoting. To pivot means to turn around a central point. In conversation, pivoting is gracefully changing the subject back to what you want to talk about without being rude or sounding defensive.
How do you do that? What is the phrase?
A classic executive pivot phrase is, "That is an interesting perspective, but what we should really focus on is," and then you state your main point.
That is an interesting perspective. But what we should really focus on is, wow, that is very polite, but it also takes back control of the room.
Precisely. Let us say someone asks you a highly technical question about the budget that you do not have the answer to right now. You can pivot.
Let me try. That is an interesting perspective on the budget details. But what we should really focus on right now is the overall growth strategy for this year.
Brilliant. You acknowledged their question, but you directed the conversation back to safe ground. Another good phrase for this is, "Let us look at the bigger picture."
The bigger picture. That means looking at the whole situation, not just the tiny details.
Exactly. CEOs love talking about the bigger picture. It shows they are strategic thinkers who understand the entire business, not just one small part.
What about when I'm not the one giving the presentation? If I'm just sitting at the conference table, how do I command the room then?
That is a fantastic point, Sarah. Being a leader is not just about talking, it is about how you interact when others are talking. Top executives use a technique called active listening.
Active listening. Is that different from normal listening?
It is normal listening is often just waiting for your turn to speak. Active listening means you're fully engaged with the person talking. You show this by maintaining eye contact and taking focused notes.
Okay, but how does that make me sound like a CEO if I'm not talking?
Because when you finally do speak, your words carry more weight. You can use a phrase like building on what David just said. This shows you are paying close attention and you are adding value to the team's ideas rather than just forcing your own agenda.
Building on what David just said, I believe we should also focus on international marketing, like that.
Precisely. It builds teamwork while also putting you in a leadership position. Another critical thing to remember in meetings is eliminating weak language.
Weak language. You mean bad words?
No, not bad words. I mean words that make you sound unsure or lacking in confidence. Many of us naturally say things like, "I think maybe we should try this," or "This is just my opinion, but..."
Oh, I say that all the time. I say I'm not sure, but maybe we can do it this way. I say it to be polite and nice to my coworkers.
And it is polite, but in a corporate setting, it removes your authority. Executives replace weak language with strong, definitive statements. Instead of saying, "I think," they say, "I believe," or "the data shows."
So instead of saying, I think maybe we should launch the product in June, I should say, I believe June is the optimal time for the launch.
Exactly. Optimal is a great word there, meaning the best or most favorable. You replaced maybe with a strong statement. You did not ask for permission to share your idea. You stated it as a fact.
That feels a bit aggressive, though. What if I'm wrong?
Being decisive is not the same as being aggressive. If you are wrong, a good leader admits it later. But in the moment of discussion, you must present your ideas with conviction. If you do not believe in your own idea, why should the room believe in it?
That makes a lot of sense. Conviction means a strong belief. I need to speak with conviction.
You have got it. Let us talk about one more important structure, How do CEOs keep people listening for a long time? Sometimes business presentations can be very boring.
They use signposting. Wait, let me guess. Think of driving on a highway. Signposts tell you where you are and where you're going. In a speech, signposting language tells the audience the structure of your presentation.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Yes. Instead of just saying first and second, an executive might say, there are 3 key pillars to this strategy. Let us examine the first.
Pillars, like the big stone columns that hold up an old building?
Exactly. Calling your points pillars makes them sound strong and foundational. It is much more impressive than just saying points or ideas.
3 key pillars. I love that. It makes my ideas sound very important. What if I want to show that 2 things are connected?
You can use a phrase like, this goes hand in hand with, which means 2 things are closely related and happen together.
For example, good customer service goes hand in hand with high sales.
Perfect example. Using phrases like that smooths out your transitions and makes your whole presentation flow logically from one point to the next.
John, what about the end of the presentation? I always feel awkward finishing. I usually just say, that is all I have. Any questions?
Ending weakly can ruin a great presentation. You need a strong call to action. A call to action is exactly what it sounds like. You're telling the audience what they need to do next.
Okay, so I should be very direct.
Very direct. A strong executive closing phrase is, the path forward is clear.
The path forward is clear. It sounds like I'm a leader guiding them through a dark forest.
That is the exact feeling you want to create. You are the guide. You have laid out the problems, presented the solutions, and now you're telling them it is time to move. You follow that phrase with the specific action you want them to take.
Let me try the whole thing. The path forward is clear. We must approve this budget today so we can start the new project next week.
You nailed it, Sarah. If you deliver that with a slight pause before speaking and clear enunciation on the word clear, you will have the whole room agreeing with you.
This is so incredibly helpful. I'm realizing that sounding like a CEO is not about using very complicated grammar or big dictionary words. It is about using specific frameworks and delivering them with purpose.
That is the big secret: confidence, clarity, and strategic phrasing. So to all our listeners, your homework for this week is to try using one of these phrases. Try painting a picture in your next conversation or use the power of the pause.
Yes, please try it. And do not worry if it is not perfect the first time. I am single and live alone, so I have plenty of quiet time to practice enunciating my final consonants in the mirror tonight.
That is a fantastic plan. Practice makes progress. Thank you all for tuning in to the English Vision podcast today. Remember, communication is your greatest tool.
Keep learning, keep speaking, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye, everyone.